Hey everybody, Crypto Mentor 99, how you doing? It is July the 16th, 2018, early afternoon, and I have a special guest that we're going to talk about 25 minutes on DigiByte. Her resume is flawless. Her passion for crypto education has no limits. Her smile is contagious. Her wisdom cannot be measured. Her crypto meetups are the talk of the town. Yes, I'm talking about Laura Taylor. Laura, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good, thanks.
So we talked last night and in the pre-interview that we've got really seriously so much to talk about that I wanted to break it down into bite-sized pieces for everybody because, you know, people do, 45, 55-minute videos and there's so much good stuff in there, but people end up not really listening to the whole thing. So for those of you watching, we're going to break it up into, because Laura Taylor is such a deep well, we're going to break it up to DigiByte and the DigiByte Awareness Team. And then we're going to do another video about meetups, DigiByte meetups, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to label this necessarily part one, but this is going to be about DigiByte, how Laura got involved, et cetera, et cetera. So Laura, I always like to ask my guests, when you were like a little girl growing up, right? Like, were you like scientific, mathematical? I mean, like, what was your brain like as a little girl growing up?
I don't know. I wasn't really. I was kind of like neutral on a lot of things. I wasn't like terribly driven in one direction. And I did like science. My plan was to be a marine biology major, and then I got my marine technology degree and decided to take a little break and see if that's really what I wanted to do. And I switched my direction to math because I was trying to think of a major, and I was talking with my sister. She goes, "Well, what are you good at?" And I was like, "I'm not particularly great at anything." And she goes, "Well, what are you bad at?" And I was like, "Writing." She goes, "Maybe you should be a math major." I was like, "Okay." And it turned out I love math. I mean, I got in that and I totally loved it, and I love teaching. So I taught high school math, got my undergraduate, taught high school math for a couple years, and then when my daughter was born, I went back to school and got my master's and taught at the community college for like 14 years.
Wow, cool. So, and again, I won't say this after every question, but we talked about this in the pre-interview and last night. Tell everybody, did you find DigiByte or did DigiByte find you? Like, what was your first, connection?
Well, I found it late. Like I didn't really start researching it until this May, and it was my sister who kind of pointed me in this direction because she was like, "I think you really need to take a look at this project. It's very different than some of the other ones out there." And I'm one of those people. I don't like go into every project. I'm kind of critical, and I'm very much. I research development teams and that sort of thing. And if something seems off, I'm like, nah, that's okay. There'll be another opportunity later, So I started researching DigiByte, and I was like, whoa, this is a very different type of blockchain from the others I've seen. I mean, in terms of the developers, I think are the best in the world. And I think Jared's vision for it and really resonated with me. So, I watched all the videos I could watch, and I read everything I could read. And so I started getting into the Telegram channel, and I said on the Telegram channel, I said, "Does anybody else have meetups? If you don't have a meetup, you should start a meetup." And then Derek messaged me, and he was like, "I'd like to know more about starting meetups." And so he invited me to the Hangout, the DigiByte team, and
Sure.
then now I'm working with those guys. So that's kind of how it came about.
Wow.
I just messaged them, and I just said in Telegram, "Hey, this is how you can do it. You guys should start meetups."
That's great. So even during the pre-interview, I could just hear that passion for disseminating information, of the teacher in you, right? That comes out. That's awesome. Really. I really value that about you. I do.
Oh, thanks. It is like a big gaping hole in this space right now. It's just people talking, about education, and I'm excited to be part of an initiative that focuses on that.
Right.
Because I'm not a developer, so
right. Okay.
I'm more an educator.
Well, I told Rudy and Derek of the DigiByte Awareness Team, because I did an interview with them. I'm going to say it was a month ago, maybe it was 3 weeks, 5 weeks ago. But I was on the Twitter and I see DigiByte Awareness Team, and I don't, frankly, I follow on my YouTube channel like a lot of cryptocurrencies, and I do an interview every now and then. But I own DigiByte, I like it, and just lately started to do in the past 4 or 5 weeks more interviews and videos on DigiByte. All that to say,
which I appreciate very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I said, DigiByte's got a DigiByte Awareness Team. What the heck is that? So, as usual in the crypto community, I sent Rudy an instant message. He got back to me right away. He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Well, can I do an interview with you?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, selfishly, I want to know what the heck the DigiByte Awareness Team does. So we had a blast. We went, again, not long, 40, 45 minutes. So I've said that to say, and then, Laura, you were nice enough to send me so I didn't know that the DigiByte Awareness Team existed until a month ago, let's say. And then you send me your LinkedIn information, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, wait a minute, DigiByte Outreach Officer? Who knew? DigiByte Ambassador? What line do I get in for that? So let's kind of camp here a little bit. Tell everybody, and again, I'm kind of a goofy guy, but tell everybody, like, if someone is out there that wants to be, or not how does one become a outreach officer or an ambassador, but kind of talk to everybody about, hey, maybe there's a 15-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 90-year-old that says, man, if Laura can do it, like, could I get involved? Like, just kind of talk about that.
So, I watch a lot of Josiah's videos, and he actually he piped into one of our meetups, and he's, like anybody's, if you're for DigiByte, you are a DigiByte ambassador, and that's the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of a decentralized system. There are no bosses. You can literally be whoever you want to be. If you want to be the CEO of DigiByte, you can put that on your LinkedIn page, because there are no bosses here. So, but the initiative that I'm a part of with education, I was talking to one of my team members, and he was like, well, you need something a little bit more official sounding than ambassador. You're really like an outreach officer. And I was like, okay. He goes, put that on your LinkedIn page. I was like, okay.
Why not?
We can create any titles we want, I think Jared's the only one who can have founder, but, other than that, we can make it up whatever we want. I could be president of Digiland if I wanted to. So that's like the paradigm shift that I think we all kind of have to get our minds around. Is that,
and me too, myself included.
We're so used to like the old system where you had to have all this, permission to do things, and this is a permissionless space, and it's pretty wild. But so I just wanted to choose something that would align with my efforts, and my efforts are outreach, predominantly outreach and education. Maybe I should change it to education. I don't know. I'm not changing it. So anyway, that's how it all kind of started, and so my initiative this is the kickoff of it. This interview of working with DigiByte Awareness Team to motivate people to start their own meetups. I'm calling them Digi meetups, and but they don't have to be, just about DigiByte. The space is so large, right?
Gosh,
so they could be about security and wallets, and just any projects that follow DigiByte, or like really anything you want it to be. But we were hoping to motivate the community to start their own meetup groups, and within that, I'm going to have a channel for those meetup leaders.
Oh, that's awesome.
That they can all work together and collaborate and share, ideas and information and what worked and what didn't work for their meetups. We don't have our website quite finished yet, but I did write up just like a basic kind of how to get started with a meetup, and just some tips. And so we'll have that available just, for the temporary until our full site is up. So, after the interview, if somebody wants to check it out, they can go there, and it basically has, steps to start your meetup. But, ideally what I'd like to see us do is build a Digi Army. I'd like to see us, do some coordinated efforts in like the physical world, to catch the next wave of early adopters. We're kind of, I would say, we're a group of innovators and early adopters, and there's like another shift coming, and I think everybody can kind of feel that. And that next wave coming in, they need a physical community. They're not going to feel so comfortable in Telegram, and they're going to be a little bit more cautious and wary. And I think having that sense of a community to kind of, I think of the meetups as study groups. That's how I describe ours. We're just a study group. We're like a really super cool study group, and so that's what I hope people do. I hope they create real life study groups, because education is imperative right now, and it's super duper lacking.
So let's back up a little bit, because again, all great stuff. I just want to slow you down because it's all good stuff. No, it's good stuff.
I get excited.
No, so do I. So I'm just like, okay, hang on. So let's go back 3 minutes. So this website that you made mention of, without, as my dad would say, I'm not trying to back you in a corner, would that be ready in a month or 2 or 3?
I think it's supposed to be ready within a week, but don't quote me.
Okay.
I can find out for sure, and if you want, I'll put a message underneath the video link and let people know, and I'll also give you a link to it.
Okay.
The temporary site and the full site when it's ready.
Because I'm just thinking as we're video recording now, because in every, with like YouTube, there's like a template that I could put in every DigiByte video, either the DigiByte Awareness, like I could put anything in there, so I'm just kind of brainstorming and.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
You should be the one doing the talking now. But so give me the link when it's available, and I will default it in all the DigiByte videos.
That's perfect. Thank you.
All right, so let's go to tell us, and I think you kind of said it, but maybe some people missed it. I'm not saying that they missed it. Tell us again how you became part of the awareness team. And again, I know it's decentralized. It's not like, hey, where's the line for the interview? But what if someone casts some vision how you did it, and maybe how somebody else could do it, irregardless of their age?
Well, I kind of like, Rudy messaged me too and was like, okay, what is it that, you can bring? So it's not an open group, because you have to have a certain skill set that you can like put forth for the marketing effort. So I think, the fact that I was so focused on meetups and education, and I don't think there was anybody else who was kind of, into that, they were like, well, that's a part of our outreach effort that we can fill. And so I think that's how I got into it. That's why they asked me.
So I just learned something new. I didn't know that. So the DigiByte Awareness Team is not for, I don't want to say not for everybody, but they're at some level, no matter how you measure it, there's some type of, shall I say, a threshold of either knowledge, expertise, fill in the blank. So it's not like, hey, there's 10,000 people on the DigiByte Awareness Team. Yeah,
because it can get, I think it could, I'm sure that they'll be adding people, down the line, but, it's starting pretty small and fairly coordinated, and we're getting our kind of ducks in a row and getting things worked out, and getting things organized.
Sure.
And then figuring out kind of what do we need from here on out, like what are the skills that we need. And I think I tweeted out something. I was like a very motivational feeling one day, and I was like, we're just we're like a band of superheroes. I think of us like the Avengers, like we all have like our own like little superpowers. I'm not good with like videos and graphics and things like that, but we have people on our team who are excellent, and we can give them an idea, and they can just make crazy stuff happen. And
that's good. Yeah.
So we kind of we just share our skill sets and support each other. So.
That's good.
That's kind of what we're doing.
No, that's good, Laura Taylor. So I like that, Laura Taylor. So you don't have to mention the other projects by name. If you do, that's fine. It's not, proprietary. How did you land or get a good feeling, maybe that's the wrong way to say it, about DigiByte, and that's where you want to put your time, efforts, and resources? Like, why not ABC, XYZ,
right.
Whatever?
Well, what really caught my eye was they've been around for 4.5 years. That was a biggie. That's like 1,000 years in legacy world. So I was really impressed with that. And I like to look at projects that are on different blockchains. And I've researched several ERC20 projects and things like that. And I just liked that it was its own blockchain. And I really liked the vision of the developers and where they wanted it to go, and the humanitarian efforts that they were participating in. I mean, they weren't about profit, and this space, it's going to grow. I mean, if you get in it early, profit's not the question, and so many people have been so focused on profit, and the fact that they never had an ICO was really huge for me.
Yeah.
I've seen some really bad ICOs and some pretty bad projects, and the fact that they, just diligently, they remind me of that story of like the grasshopper and like the ant, where the ant, works so hard to just squirrel away and be ready for winter, and the grasshopper plays, and I feel like this is the ant. Like, they've been quietly just working diligently, preparing for when we move to mass adoption, and have a place that people can go that's safe, that's established, that has a history. And so that really just, all of that combined just really attracted me to the project.
Getting back to it didn't have an ICO, so I want to frame this in the correct way and not make out like I'm into like 100 ICOs or something. But there's a little part of me that's like a gambler, that's like a non.
I think we all have that in this space, babe. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
you can't say you're not in this space.
And again, not that that's unique to me, but I'm just like, not so much for profit's sake, but just, not acting goofy. Everybody works hard for their money. I'm not, not financial advice, but there's always like, hey, what's kind of a cool idea that could really grow? So
right, what's undervalued?
Yeah. And I'm not saying DigiByte's undervalued, which it is, but what I did one of my first videos on DigiByte, which I have to admit, I'm kind of admitting my immaturity in this area still. I said something on one of my first DigiByte videos. I'm like, why forget what I bought at the ICO? I said I purchased a whole lot, and man, people were kind and gentle with me, but they're like, hey, knucklehead, there was no ICO. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, sorry, I gotta, so.
That's another part of this community too. I think overall, some of the communities can be a lot more aggressive, and this one is definitely focused on helping people and answering questions and being kind, and that's important.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do a video and say, oh yeah, I bought this at the ICO at a nickel, and now it's whatever, and again, I'm sort of repeating myself. In fact, I am repeating myself. I did that with DigiByte, and someone's like, dude, There was no ICO, and I'm like, oops, yeah, right, okay.
I mean, all these words just kind of run together sometimes. I trust me, I say the wrong word half the time, and it can make a really big difference if you say it wrong.
Yeah.
Like I think I responded to somebody that was coming to my meetup, and he said he was into Bitcoin, and I said, well, then you should take a look at DigiByte because it's a fork of Litecoin. And my group was like, it's not a fork of Litecoin. I'm like, oh, I said it wrong, and so I had to go back and fix that. But anyway, so we all do it.
Yeah. So again, I always kind of end the interview. We'll start to kind of land the plane here. So is there anything, well, there's probably a lot that we haven't talked about, but as far as like DigiByte, not so much the meetups, we'll get into that like in another video, Laura, but is there anything that maybe you're thinking about that you're like, oh, I want to get, this piece of information out, or I forgot to talk about this morning, or, oh, I want to add one more thing about this. So you have the last say here. Is there anything that you want to kind of, again, there's no time limit, anything that you want to kind of end with, like, oh, I want to get this in?
I just would like to reiterate, we have a great community. We have over 16,000 people on our Telegram, and people I know are wondering like what they can do to help, and there's a lot of different ways you can help because the space is so large. But if you can start a meetup and start a physical community, that will be an enormous help. It's kind of like a lot of people say, well, it's just me and a couple of friends. It starts like that and it grows. Yeah. And I just really hope that people kind of will do that and because if you're watching this video, you're ahead of 97% of the people in the world.
That's good.
And these communities, I feel like we're catching people coming in. We're like giving them a safe space. Like, hey, you don't know about this and it seems a little weird? Come talk to us. Come have a cup of coffee. Come, have a beer and let's discuss it. And I think looking in someone's eyes and having them explain it to you for the next wave is just it's going to be imperative. And I'm passionate about mass adoption of the right projects. And I really hope that we can, this will help us with that effort.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
And can I just say, okay, I got one last
You got it. You got it.
I do want to say thank you to my fellow team members on the awareness team. It's super fun. They're incredibly talented people, and to the developers who, I just can't even imagine the amount of work that they do and have been doing and sticking with a project when I'm sure have been enticed by large paychecks to go to another. That takes a lot of strength of character to stick with a project when you have that kind of talent and that potential. So I just want to say thank you for that. And hold on, I got my DigiByte shirt.
Oh yeah,
I didn't show it yet.
I forgot. Yeah, we were gonna do that at the beginning.
I made him wait to interview me until my DigiByte shirt came. I'm like, I can't do a DigiByte interview without a DigiByte shirt. Oh. And I got it from Bantam, and I really Crypto Bantam, and I like it. It's really high quality. So
that's good.
They got some cute stuff.
So there you have it, everybody. Laura Taylor, DigiByte ambassador. Oh, that's not all. DigiByte outreach officer. And just a lover of DigiByte. And Laura Taylor, honestly, I'm a little goofy, but thanks for coming on. It's been an honor and a privilege. And once we get all your links, whenever that is, I will put them in all the DigiByte videos. And again, thanks for coming on and being a good sport.
Totally my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you, Laura.
Bye.
Bye-bye.